A developing story tonight, a rancher in Winnie will soon have his day at the Supreme Court. Ritchie Devillier is suing the state of Texas. He says TxDOT built a median along I-10 that eventually flooded his land and killed some of his livestock. Devillier's attorney argues the state should have compensated him for the lost livestock and the land.
Yeah, now on January 16th, in less than 2 weeks, Devillier and attorneys with the Institute of Justice will travel to Washington to plead their case. 12 News reporter Kyle Orr is following this case that could set a new precedent. Kyle.
Jordan and Brenda, it's been a grueling 7-year battle between Devillier and the Texas Department of Transportation. Now, I spoke with attorney Robert McNamara, who says the state intentionally flooded Devillier's land, and now it needs to make things right.
We lost, I think it was about 60 head of cattle, 7 horses, and 1 colt, and numerous calves.
That's Ritchie Devillier back in October, describing the damage to his land and livestock. He says this median along I-10 became a dam during Tropical Storm Imelda and Harvey, turning 900 acres of his land into a massive lake.
The Fifth Amendment to the Constitution says if the government needs to build a dam and flood land, it has to pay for the land that it's turned into a lake.
Devillier and attorney Robert McNamara will finally get their day in front of the Supreme Court on January 16th.
Ritchie was told by a Texas Department of Transportation engineer that part of the reason to have a dam in the middle of the highway was to keep the south side of the highway dry.
McNamara says when Devillier begged for the median to be taken down, TxDOT refused.
They were told that the Texas Department of Transportation is in the highway business, not the drainage business.
Devillier says moving off of his property located north of I-10 is not an option, regardless of the Supreme Court's decision.
I worked all my life here to build what little bit of wealth, if any, we have. That's a lifelong investment that I'm not willing to give up.
Devillier and McNamara agree that if the court rules in favor of the state, the result could create a legal ripple effect across the country.
If this can happen to Ritchie, this can happen to anyone. This is fundamentally about whether the Constitution matters. We say it does. Texas says it doesn't, and we're going to find out which one of us is right.
Devillier and McNamara say they will be the second case of the day to be heard on January 16th, and they expect the Supreme Court to make its final decision in June at the latest. Live in studio, Kyle Orr, 12 News.